Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to start this video out by showing off my background. So, this is my background, as you can see. This is all, my wife helped me set all this up, and I just want to talk about it real quick. This we actually got on my birthday trip to Disney. So, my wife surprised me with a Disney trip. It was amazing. Didn't know it was going to happen, but we got that at Galaxy's Edge, which is really cool. That's just a decor piece. Here's a bunch of my different hats. So these two are the same brand. That one is my own brand. That one's Imperfect Faith. So for anyone who may be kingdom led, it's really about progression and not perfection. So that hat just says Imperfect Faith on it. 10X, that was when we went to Grant Cardone's Real Estate Summit. And then these are just an assortment of books that I have read. Crazy Faith isn't up there. I have read that, but my wife's reading that, so it didn't make it up here. But got some fancy decor pieces. As far I've got some seasonal ones with this. I've got the anchor because it's about being anchored this year. And I just really love this new background. I just wanted to show it off and just give props to my wife for sitting there and putting this all together. Slide back over here. But today I want to talk about this is something that we heard yesterday, and I just want to talk about it in depth a little bit more. I was going to say something about the circles, having circles of, friends, family, and then your tight-knit circle, but I think I might save that for tomorrow because I have something a little bit different on my heart right now, and that is the fact that I wanted to talk about marriage a little bit more, an in-depth look at younger couples, because my wife and I were part of this marriage group now, and we were sitting there talking with them last night for about an hour and a half, and it was very interesting because you had this group of people who had you had a couple who had been married for a very long time, and you had this couple that hadn't been married very long, and they were talking about their struggles. She was talking about how she's the kind of the head of the household, and how he hasn't really come along with her yet, and how she's frustrated, and how she really just wants him to step up. And he was there, which was really interesting, the fact that he was actually there hearing her say this. But so my wife and I, we spoke because we've been there. We were at a place in our lives where she was the one who was kind of leading the way. I was the one financially leading the way, but she was the one leading the way emotionally, spiritually. She was the head of the house at that time. And so we were able to speak to that situation. We were able to speak into them, letting them know that really for him, there was just a lot of pain. There was pain that he was dealing with from when he was younger, that he was working through to be able to get to the other side of that, to be able to even start the journey with her. And it was just giving them the acknowledgement that what they're going through, they're not crazy. But it was interesting because then this older couple who they said that they're relationship coaches, there was something that she said that was very off-putting. And I think, I know it, she didn't mean it this way, but the thing is she unmutes herself in this meeting, and she says, she's sitting there talking to her, talking about how for couples it's about communication and learning how to communicate with each other. And then she straight up attacked this lady, not even purposefully, but she said, I could tell that y'all have never talked about that, because the look on his face and yada yada yada, and the whole air left the room. I even asked my wife about this later on just to see if it was just me picking up that or if she picked it up too, and she said, yeah, I absolutely picked that up. And the thing that's interesting is, so the other lady, the younger couple, they unmuted and she said, no, we've talked about this a lot. And I think that this is a common misconception when it comes to maybe older couples who their divorce was not a thing. Y'all were just together forever, even if you just hated each other and just live, I'm living on the other side of the house kind of thing. Is back in the day, communication meant that you didn't communicate at all. But nowadays, I believe, because I've been there, I'm someone who was not communication forward. I didn't want to speak a lot, even being married. but we still talked a lot. We used to talk all the time. I mean, we used to speak all the time and talk about our issues all the time, and nothing ever got resolved because it's not about talking. As a younger couple, I feel that, at least in our generation, we express our emotions more. We express our displeasure more. That's where you get the memes about Karen, and that's where you get the memes about, people just flying off the handle. Is I feel that with younger couples that we talk more. I mean, there's another couple who's been married for 5 months in our group, and for them, they met off of Instagram. So that means that they had to talk to get together. But the thing that's interesting about the older generation, because I've seen this personally, is with my parents, they don't talk. Not very often. And growing up, they never really talked a lot. And so I could definitely understand where both sides are coming from. The older couple is, for her, she's saying, you need to learn how to communicate, speak to him, talk to him. But there's a generational gap right there where for me, I sit there and I look at that and I say, they probably are talking, but they're not hearing and receiving what the other person's saying. So because they're not open to hearing and receiving what that other person is saying, they are completely at wit's end with each other because I've told you that 12 times. Why have you not done it? Or I've told you I'm not going to do that. Why do you keep asking me? So that's just a different way of looking at it is, depending on your generation, don't try to impress upon someone else something that you haven't personally gone through. Like for my wife and I, we were able to speak to that younger couple because we've been there. We've been in their shoes. And that's a big thing too, is it's called an epiphany bridge. So if you're trying to move someone from point A to point B, don't just tell them this is how you do it. Don't just straight line them because they're not going to hear it. Explain to them how, hey, I know that you just lost everything and you're living in a basement and you think that there's no way out. But trust me, I remember 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whenever we lost everything, stepped out on faith, started a business. I was in this business with my wife and we lost everything and we lived in a basement. And I thought that was the end. I was depressed. We had to feed my son dollar carrots from Walmart, and I thought that there was no way out. But I just kept showing up, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, and eventually I got a job and made enough money for us to move out. And through time and progress, now I own my own business. Now my wife and I own our own business, and we're making more money in 1 month than we did in an entire year. So that's the thing, is right there I wanted to move them out of where they are. But I'm not telling them, okay, go get a job. You're depressed in a basement. You just lost everything, go get a job. Like, that's trying to move them from A to B, but I'm trying to get them to move from A to B as well, but I'm trying to sympathize with where they are first, because that's how people really hear you. If you're speaking to someone one-to-one, you have to meet them on middle ground, and I think that that's just vitally important. And I would say that goes for relationships, that goes for friends groups, that goes for anyone that you're coaching, is you got to meet them on common ground first. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, is just meeting people on common ground, I guess, is more than anything else. It doesn't matter about generational gaps or anything. Is if that lady who was the one who said that she does marriage counseling and relationship coaching would have met that younger couple on common ground, that would have been extremely impactful for them. But because she didn't, unfortunately, that younger couple felt attacked. And that's kind of the last thing you want to have happen, even if you didn't mean to. Just because that other couple is reaching out to you. They're reaching out in this group because they're wanting help. They want to become better, and you just kind of stifled them. And if anyone from our B group sees these YouTube videos, I'm not attacking that couple at all. I think that they're amazing. I thought it was really cool, the stuff that she was sharing. But I do implore everyone to continue to strive to get better in certain areas. In that moment, she switched from emotional intelligence, which is meeting people where they are emotionally, and switched into intelligence, which I do this all the time, and it gets me in trouble every time, where I feel their pain, but instead of me actually sympathizing with them as far as meeting them where they are, I say, why are you hurt? Why are you sad when you could just change X, Y, and Z and it'd be fine? That's me switching from my emotional intelligence to my intelligence. And that does not help people move forward. And I just want to put that out there. If anyone from our group sees it, I mean, you can hit me up on here. You can hit me up in the group, whatever you want to do. But I just wanted to put it out there because for couples, I wanted to put it out there for anyone that's watching this, and maybe you're not even in a relationship. The easiest way to make friends, the easiest way to find a relationship that's meaningful is to meet people on common ground. If you're single and you see this, meet people on common ground. And the thing is that if people start exposing their actual pain to you, never stifle it. Whatever you do, don't try to give them a resolution unless they ask for it. If someone is just saying, I've been hurt, in the past, this happened and this happened and this happened, and I'm just not sure if I can move forward with this relationship, or I'm just not sure if I can move forward into this business. If that's happening, don't sit there and say, well, yeah, you can, because blah, 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 because they didn't ask for that. Maybe they're just wanting to let down their guard enough to talk to you. And I think that that's really an impactful thing, is being able to let them feel safe speaking to you. Because for me, I grew up in a house where anytime I tried to express how I felt, it was always like, well, fix it, do this, this, and this. That's not what I needed. I needed someone to be there for me. Now, if they're saying, I don't think I can fix it because of X, Y, and Z, what do you think? How do you think I can fix it? If they ask you a question on how to fix their situation, then explain to them how to fix X, Y, and Z. But unless somebody specifically asks you about that, then most of the time they're not actually looking for a fix. They're looking for a friend. And I'm going to leave it with that. I kind of got really passionate about this one because I just saw how that younger couple reacted to the relationship coaches, and how, because the relationship coaches just told her, hey, it's obvious you never even spoke to him, when she said, and then she unmutes herself and said, no, I've actually spoken to him multiple times about this. And that's something that happened with my wife and I, where we talked about stuff all the time, and there was not ever resolutions because we didn't have emotional intelligence, and we didn't know we didn't know how to let our pride down and how to let our walls down enough to receive what the other person was actually saying. So I got really passionate about this video, and I'm letting this one kind of go on a little bit longer than usual, but I just want to thank you guys for watching it. If you have any questions, concerns, anything else, please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and I will see you guys tomorrow.